Hey, welcome back to Hunter's Instinct. We showed you in the last video how we fix our deer heads up and stuff, and I said that I was going to bring in more story about the 6x5 and half rack, which I don't know if I can get him in frame or not, but here's the 6x5. And this was killed in East Tennessee. This one Uncle Mikey got. And here is half rack. And when they come up on our radar, they was young, about 2.5 years old, and about 4.5, half rack had disappeared, and I couldn't pick him up on camera, trail camera, nowhere, and I've run a lot of trail cameras trying to find him when he was 4.5, and then let me see if I can't find a picture for you. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see it real good or not, but when I did find him, he had broken the same side off. And when I had started getting trail camera pictures of him again for the 2020 season, he was a perfect rack. But I'm going to take you through the story of it and how it come to be. And so let's get to it. When we first got the farm to hunt on, it was we didn't have no idea what was on the farm. We didn't really have no trail cameras out. And then when we started putting trail cameras out, we started getting some pictures of some nice bucks. And then when we went to setting a little pop-up blind to observe what was coming into the field, this buck here started showing up. He's an 8-pointer. He had good mass, but just wasn't had no height to his tines. Well, this buck here, it come from another property. I'll talk about him some other time. And these two bucks here are the first two bucks that I took off the farm. And Uncle Mikey took another 8-pointer that was about like this, but he was tall time, wide. But this was more like a bully buck. When the rut and stuff started coming in, he was running off all the bucks because he just had a bigger body. I think he probably weighed 280 pounds, somewhere right in there, maybe more. And then this was more like a surprise buck. I didn't have no trail cameras on him at all when I harvested him, except for the night that he come in, and I killed him that morning. And this buck here, we done started laying the minerals to him. This was like 2018. This was 2019. And I'll get to the next buck. Well, 2018 is when half rack and the 6x5 was showing up. I didn't start getting pictures of them until after we done tagged out and we went over and took a couple of those. But this buck here, he was, when he showed up on the farm, he was taller, bigger tines. He was just a big 7-pointer, and he had picked up that time right there on the end that made him an 8. But he was a bigger buck. This is one my daughter killed December the 2nd of 2019 when my stepmom passed away. So this is kind of a special buck too. And here's the blade buck, the one I killed in velvet. I kind of messed up and didn't get him to the taxidermy quick enough, so we just worked with him the best we could. As you see, he's still got some velvet hanging off. I think it's kind of cool, so I just kind of left it there. Got some around the tip of that. And he's double brow. And he's got that big blade. This buck here was running at the time when we was watching the field, was running with half frac and a 6x5. So when he broke off and we started laying the minerals to him heavy, that's the reason why I don't know why he wasn't taller than he was before, but he picked up mass, but kind of lost some height, so actually he dropped when this one gained. When we started laying the minerals to him, he didn't have this double brow, he had this single brow on this side, and he gained an extra point over here, and this got bigger, massive, and gained 2 points and one around the very back, as you can see. And then we go to the 6x5 and half frac. Like I said, the blade buck and the 6x5 was running together when we was sitting and observing, and they was on the trail cameras together somewhat, and then they had different attitudes towards one another, and they was just two different bucks. When as soon as half frac lost his velvet, don't know what happened. I know he had an injury on this side and on his leg. It was right in the joint, and I don't know if that's what caused this or if he got hit or something. But as you can see by this side, he was a dandy. I mean, he was real big. And if you ain't watched the video on how these two bucks was harvested, you need to check it out on 2020 deer hunting season. But anywho, he went nights. He was strictly night. While the 6x5, he was daylight more than he was nighttime. And I went in there a couple of times to try to stick an arrow through him, and with my Buzzy broadhead. But I don't know exactly. Like when I was in there, he was coming in right at the edge of dark and just missing him, or he would just go the other way. But anyways, during bow season, I was after the 6x5, and I hunted a couple times when the wind was just right, because I didn't really want to spook him out, to have a chance to take him during muzzleload and during rifle season. And he always stayed to one side of the field. I never got no pictures of him on the opposite side of the field. And well, the morning that Uncle Mikey shot the 5-point buck, he had come through about an hour later. I mean, right on the dot, about an hour later. And but Uncle Mikey was tickled to death with the buck that he shot with the muzzleloader, and at the yardage that he shot it at. So, you know, that's what it's all about. And the morning that he shot the 6x5, as you can see, there was some confusion, because the guy that hunts the lower part of the property, he has shot a big doe, and we've seen the smaller doe come up into the upper field, but he wasn't with her. And I went and checked that morning after he shot him, and I found his bed where he was bedded right at the edge of the field. So when that little doe come through, well, that got him on his feet, and she just brought him right straight in. So I mean, you know, that's sometimes that's the luck of the draw that the does get the big bucks in trouble. And I was thinking that the 6x5 was probably about a 4.5 to 5 year old, and half rack he's probably about a 5 to 6 year old. And I figured that the 6x5 would be more nocturnal than what he was, but every time I checked the cameras, boom, there he was on daylight. I mean, plenty of shooting light, and but he was just a all around a good buck to take. And this is what good minerals will do for deer. And like I said, I wished I had the other ones on video. I wished I started this a while back, but you know, we started it right when we went on to the crop damage stamp hunt, and just really just trying it out to see what we can get done on camera. And lo and behold, the one that I was really after stepped out in velvet, and I was able to put him down, and Uncle Mikey was able to put a 6-point down. But then you know, I kind of was keeping track of him too, half rack, and this kind of worked out one morning. There was a big fight right to the right of the blind, and he was just a big brute of a deer. And people thinks that these deer just got one side broke off like this can't win fights. Well, he was putting deer away. I mean, he was pushing bucks off left and right. And he come out with that doe, and I tried to get everything on camera that I could, and I didn't get the kill shot on camera, which you know, if you watch that video, you know I shot twice, and the second shot didn't make impact. So I'm really proud of the deer. I mean, especially after the 2019 season, we hunted over there and hunted everywhere, and we just didn't see bucks like we should during the 2019 season. I don't know if it had a lot to do with the weather or what, but I mean, it was tough. I think we harvested like, well, Uncle Mikey got one buck, and I got, well, he got two. He got one for the crop damage stamps and the 8-pointer during rifle season, and I just got the blade buck. But we got a whole lot more good bucks coming up, and so I've got a lot of good 3.5 year olds that survived. It's going to be 4.5, and got a lot of 4.5. It's going to be 5, 6 year old bucks. And so we start laying the minerals to them now. Now it's time to get them out, and this is the outcome of them. You know, I think this is just an injury that happened, you know, like I said, when he was probably about 4 years old, and this just made it weak. And so, but you know, I told myself if he stepped out, whether he's got one good side or one bad side or both bad sides, that I would harvest him. He was old enough buck to be taken. Like I said, both of these bucks was took in East Tennessee, so you know, it's a good deal to have. And these are a good reputation of what we have here in East Tennessee. I mean, there's probably bigger bucks that's been taken, but you know, it's something how you can do when you got a farm that you can put mineral licks and good food source and good water source out, and this is what happens. And if they don't have to leave the farm or go far from the bedding area, they don't. They will not leave. They will not leave the farm. So these deer here, they got good bedding over there. They got a good water source, and they ain't got to go far to go from bed to food to water, from water to food to bed. So I really enjoy bringing these stories to you, and I really enjoy bringing y'all along on stuff that we're doing on the farm, like for the food and all this stuff. So, and we got a lot more stuff to do to the project farm to get it up and going. We got tree stands put out, food plots put out, and then there's a couple food plots I'm gonna have to put out, and like sometimes around July, August, and just to give the deer just a little bit to get them through the winter and stuff. So I really appreciate all my viewers, all my subscribers. Just pass it on, share it, like it, and spread the word out, and hit that subscribe button if you ain't already. I really appreciate it, and we don't have some good things coming, so keep on watching. We'll keep on making them.